The camp of the Labour Party's presidential candidate, Peter Obi, says it would be very unfair of anybody to accuse Obi of driving religious sentiment through his frequent presence at different church programs. Rising in his defense at a media conference held on Thursday in Abuja, the Obidients media office lashed out at the vice presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Dr. Ifeanyi Okowa, saying the former governor of Anambra State had been visiting churches long before he declared intention to run for the highest office in the country. Okowa had knocked Obi for frequently visiting churches, an act of many of his critics believed was a subtle campaign strategy. But the Obidients, as growing movement of the Labour Party's presidential candidates, however, thought otherwise. They admonished Okowa to focus on marketing himself in the place of attempt to brand Obi as a bigot. In a statement issued to journalists on Thursday, the Obidients media office disclosed that Okowa's attempt to demarket Obi as partisan primordial, religious and tribal politics was baseless. The statement partly read, first, Obi was tagged a mere social media blaze, hanging in the air without structure. Second, it was labeled an Igbo and indigenous people of Biafra's relentless. And now Okowa, grieved by Obi's popularity among the lay faithful, says he is fanning religious sentiments. The truth is that Obi is the driver of a movement whose membership and support cuts across all facets of our national life, and any attempt to pigeonhole him into any sector will fail. Obi has visited churches even before he became the president's run for the presidency. In July 2021, he was at St. Mary's Catholic Church, Cairo, Abuja, to attend the 25th anniversary of a priest, and the church erupted when he was introduced. At various weddings in Abuja, Lagos, and all over the country where he visited, Nigerians celebrated him for what he stood for and what he did when he held public office in Anambra State. One of such functions was Dr. Okowa's child's wedding at the National Ecumenical Conference Center, Abuja, this year. Celebration of Obi at any public gathering has been there long before he began to aspire for the presidency. The team also drew attention to a recent wedding ceremony held in a mosque in the Kaduna State, where Obi was greeted with ovation by his admirers, who thronged the event and made efforts to touch him. Obidients media office is privy to the fact that in most of the top public church appearances of Obi, including a recent Dunamis church out in Abuja, Okowa was always invited. He either stays away or sends his wife to represent him. And because Obi does not like a rep where the people want him, he strives to show presence despite his tight schedule. We don't expect Governor Okowa to join in these fantasy talks, but to use every available avenue he has to market himself and his candidates instead of dwelling in gainsaying anything that concerns Obi of the Labour Party.